Hey guys, this is Anthony Romerell, and in this video we're going to continue to UV map this table. So we've got a little problem with this leg. So what we're going to do now is we're going to go to our UV shell and we're going to try to resolve it. So we're going to click this optimize button and then we're going to click unfold, and you can see, let's hit the W key and move this shell. We've just still got some weird things connected to it, right? It is not unfolded properly. So I'm going to right click this. We're going to go to edge mode. And I'm going to just make sure that we hit cut. So we're going to open that cut and sew menu again. Let me hit the F key to frame in there. Oh, you know what? There it is. That little piece right there didn't get cut. That would explain a few things. So we're going to hit cut on that. And we're just going to dolly around. Looks like there's 3 pieces. And we're going to take this UV shell again, and we're going to click optimize, then unfold, and this is now fixed. This little piece right here could be, I'm going to go to edge mode. That could be sewn, right? So that is, this little leg is now seemingly fixed. Okay, now not all the legs are the same. So we're going to try to work on that. We're going to go to object mode, hit that F key, and we're going to try to sew these up so that they're the same, right? So let's start by just looking at each piece and seeing where our cuts are. And, you know, like the top of each leg, for example, I don't think the cut should be here. So I'm going to right click. I'm going to go to edge mode and hit Q to get that navigation of the way. And I'm just going to hit sew. I'm going to sew that piece together. You can see it broke it, right? It doesn't like it. So we're going to hit Z to undo. Okay. And we're going to cut this little piece off first. So we're going to hit the shift key, select that, and we're going to cut, right? It's a little bit of a process, but we'll work it out. And then that little part, and sew it back together, right? Okay, since sew doesn't work, we're going to hit stitch together. Okay, and this one will sew. Oh, didn't work. So let's hit stitch together. And you know what? Brought that whole leg over. We don't want that. Okay, so we'll click just a vert. We'll right click and go to vertex, select that. And you know, we'll hit sew there. Still a little problem. So you know what? We're going to leave that alone for now. Okay. This little piece here, let's just figure out where it goes. So we're going to go to UV shell. And you know what? I want this together. So I'm going to go to edge mode, select that edge, and shift select this edge. And I'm going to stitch together. Okay. That seems pretty good. Maybe this top part, I'm going to go to edge. This should probably all be cut off. So shift key, select that whole top part. Let's cut it. And you know what? Let's select along this edge, hold the shift key, and we will stitch that together. Okay, it brought the whole leg on it. So we're going to have to do a little bit of cutting. That's okay. So we'll just go to edge mode. This one here seems to be the problem, and this one here. So hit that shift key, and we will hit cut. Then we'll go to shell. Okay. And move that shell away. And let's kind of see what this face is doing here. Right? So, all right. Look at that. There's an internal face. Should have been deleted. Wasn't deleted. You know what we're going to do? We're going to hit delete and delete that thing. Right? So there's not even a face in there anymore. In fact, there shouldn't be any faces in here. So let's hit that 4 key. And let's just double click to make sure there aren't any faces in there. So face mode, let's hit, we'll just tumble around here. It seems like that maybe the only face left. So let's hit 5 to shade it again. That kind of thing happens, right? All right, now let's just figure out where all these little pieces are. So this is the top of the table, right? We're going to go to UV shell. We'll hit E to rotate this. Let's figure this one out. We've got a stray weird face in there. Look, that's another internal face. Gonna hit the backspace, delete that. Okay. And we've got this edge right here. And we're going to hit stitch together. Nothing is connecting. And stitch together on that one. Okay, there it is. And let's just see if we have another extra face inside. Oh, and there is another extra face. You know what? I didn't clean this one up properly. So I'm paying a little price. That's all right. So one last time. Let's go to edge mode. Let's hit stitch together. Hit the Q key to clear the widget. Stitch together. Didn't work. So let's try this one. Stitch together. Okay. And you know what? Probably have that extra face in there. And we do. So we're going to hit delete. Delete that. Now we can go to that edge and sew it. And that's not doing anything. That's very strange. Just hit Z. Okay. What we'll do now is we'll take this UV shell and we'll unfold it and sort of rotate it back so it's kind of straight. And let's see if we can't go to edge and sew some of these back together or stitch them together. For some reason, it's not working. I'm going to hit the delete key, see what we got. Didn't do it. We'll undo. Let's hit the delete key on this one. And you know what? That was a mistake. So we're going to undo, hit Z. It's okay. That's going to be pretty good. All right, now back on these stray faces. What are these, right? Let's hit the F key to see where we are. That's the bottom of a leg right there. So that could be stitched together. And where is it going to go? Let's just hit stitch together, see where it moves. And sometimes you just do this. You look for stray pieces. You click that stitch together button and see what happens. Okay, so that was a mistake. Those two shouldn't go together. So we'll go to the other side of that one and stitch it together. And guys, I know this is kind of painful. UV mapping is probably the worst thing you're going to do. Hopefully AI solves it. Let's try to sew that piece. Sew this piece. Let's see what this does if we stitch together. Great. We'll sew it. You can see it's a process of cutting and sewing until this thing starts to look pretty normal, right? More stray pieces. Stitch together. Another stray piece. Stitch together. Oh, didn't select anything. That's a little strange. We're going to undo that. Actually, what we're going to do is we're going to cut this one right here, right? Let's see where it cuts. Hit that F key to frame it. Okay, so we're going to cut right here. So back to edge. We're going to cut it here. And then we're going to select this piece and this piece and hit stitch together and hit sew, right? And more stray pieces. So stitch together, and stitch together, and we'll see where this goes. Looks like right over here. We want this side. So we'll stitch that together. This part will have to be cut. And stitch this together here. Oh, stitch. Didn't like it. Do it again. There we go. And we will sew that piece. We will sew that piece. Try to sew this one again. Great. Now we're going to unfold the whole thing again, right? So here we go. We're going to go to object mode. And we're going to hit unfold. Everything kind of looks nice. A few little stray things to fix. So edge. Let's sew that. We'll sew this. Right, these all look pretty straight. Let's see if we can't sew this together. For some reason that won't sew. Let's try it in vertex mode, see if we can sew that. Doesn't like it. See if we can sew this one. Oh, I know why. I've just thought of why. Those aren't sewing together. That's because they're not merged. So we're gonna select that. All these little points. We're gonna hit the shift key, vertex, and we're gonna take all these points that aren't merged properly because we deleted a face. So we're gonna merge them. So let's see, mesh merge. And now that those are merged, it should sew. Oh, this didn't do it. Let's try again. You know what? We're probably going to have to move these right on top of each other. Let's try this again. So edge, let's select the edge and merge. Edit mesh, merge. Still not working. You know, I should let it go. But there's clearly something wrong with that geometry here. So we're going to try to merge them this way. So we're going to go to edge mode and select that edge. Hold the shift key and select that edge and this edge, because there's clearly something wrong with it. Shift key this edge, this one, and we're going to hit merge again. See if we can merge it this way. And then we're going to try to sew it again, right? So sew it. Didn't work. Well, you know, sometimes things don't work the way we expect it. That's okay. I think we have a decent bit. So last thing we're going to do is we're going to go to UV shell. We'll select all these shells. We're going to unfold them. We're going to hit optimize a few times. We're going to call it good by going to arrange and layout. And we're going to hit this layout button, and it's going to fit everything back in together. And there's a few things we could fix, but overall for a first UV map, took a long time. UV maps take a long time. We have a pretty decent layout. We have a recognizable top of it, bottom of the table, recognizable top of the table, and recognizable legs that are unfolded. A few cleanups to do, some move and sews, probably some merges. If I discover what I need to do to fix this, I'll make another video to fix it.